Welcome back to Commands Part 2. As we've already talked about, we talked about this square, and I've hidden the square because that's not where I want to focus this lesson. This lesson is going to deal with squares 2, 3, and 4. Now I realize I don't have them numbered mathematically correct, but that's okay. This is how we're going to number them. As a review, remember this top row is for informal, so talking to a friend. But in this case, we're going to talk negatively. We're going to tell our friend not to do something. So for example, I could say to my friend, don't slip. It's been icy out there, so I could say, don't slip. Down here on this row, this is going to be both usted and ustedes. So if I were giving a command to all of you affirmatively, it would be this square. If I were to give a negative command to all of you, for example, don't sleep, I would be using this one. One thing that you'll notice is I'm no longer using purple, I'm using blue. Blue is for the new tense that you need to learn. It's called subjunctive. So what I've done is I've given you the steps to be able to form the verb in the subjunctive. And they're listed right here. Step 1, you conjugate the verb in the yo form in the present indicative. That's just a fancy way of putting the verb in the yo form in the tense you first learned. Someone in class today called it the default tense. Whatever it helps you. So for example, bailar would be bailo, jugar would be juego, correr, corro, etc. Okay, so that's step 1. You put it in the yo form. As an example, let's take a verb. Let's take salir. Salir in the yo form is salgo. That's step 1. Step 2, you drop the o. So I'm left with just salg. And step 3, you add one of the endings. Now, here's the big question. I say opposite endings. What do I mean? Well, in the ER, IR form of the verb, normally isn't it for usted, el, ella, and E? Well, I find the E over here for an AR. And then the A is over here. So in essence, think of the endings as having been flipped or opposite. These are the endings for the subjunctive verb. Now the ones that you're going to need to know for commands would really be only 3 of them. The tú, usted, and ustedes. Tú, usted, and ustedes. However, I gave you all of them because you're going to eventually need to know this. So when would I use the es ending? If it's a verb, and then the negative form for the tú, and then I would add this ending, etc. So if I were telling my friend not to leave, oh, don't leave, what would my ending be? Well, it's salg. What would my ending? I'm saying to a friend, I'm saying don't, so I'm going to add the no to negate it. No salgas. Okay? So again, you really need to know who your audience is to give the commands because you have different ones. I'm going to use the es if it's too negative. Remember, right here, negative, not affirmative. I'm going to say someone don't to do something, and I'll be talking to a friend or to one of you. If I'm talking to you as a collective group, I'm going to use one of these, whether it's negative, again, or affirmative. So before we look at the examples, we also need to draw our attention over here to the 6 irregulars in the subjunctive, in the present subjunctive. They are ser, ir, saber, estar, dar, and haber. Haber is down here separate because you really will only use one form, and that's haya. And that is the form from I. So for you right now, I would say ignore this, but you do need this for later, okay? So sea, seas, sea, seamos, seáis, sean. Vaya, vaya, vayas, vaya, vayas, vaya, vayamos, vayáis, vayan. Sepa, 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 sepamos, sepáis, sepan. Esté, notice the accent. If you don't have this accent here, it will be incorrect. Estés, esté, same thing with all of these. Estemos, estéis, estén. The only one that doesn't have the accent is nosotros form. De, des, de, demos, deis, den. Again, please don't forget the accents. Now, one thing that you also need to remember, and this is going to be a little challenging for some of you, is spell changers. We had them in the preterite, and we also have them in the present subjunctive. It's not difficult. You can do this. If you have an original verb, so I'm going to go ahead and make a square here to explain the spell changers. If a verb ends in car, it's going to become que, or maybe the ending will be kes, or it'll be ken. So for example, if I'm talking to my friend and I want to say, don't look for a book. A weird example, but that's okay. This will work for what we're trying to say. I'm going to say, no busques. Again, the original verb was buscar. So if I don't write the QUES, I'm going to write buses, and that's wrong. So it has to change to QUES. No busques un libro. Okay? If I'm saying to all of you, don't look for a book, I'm going to say, no busquen, and I'll put ustedes for clarification. It's pretty self-explanatory. Un libro. But oftentimes with command, we'll put the subject after as emphasis. Okay? If a verb ends in gar, like jugar, it's either going to be gay, gays, or gen. And remember, the only time that it's going to be the to form is if it's negative. Sar, this is a cursive Z. Z-A-R would be se, ses, sen. Her, ha, has, han. There are a couple of other spell changes that you have in your notes that I provided, but these will be sufficient for now. Let's go ahead and apply some examples. We should still have enough time to do this, where I have them broken down by grouping. So first, this line divides. We're going to do some informal negative, usted affirmative, and finally usted is negative. Truly the only difference between usted affirmative and usted negative is the no, and then the pronoun has to go in front if it's non, and negative. Never attach negative. Affirmative, always attach affirmative. So don't eat. I'm saying to my friend, don't eat. No comas. Remember, opposite endings. Okay? Don't run. No corras. Don't fall asleep. Now this one's a little different. Dormirse is to fall asleep. Dormir is to sleep. So this is going to be reflexive. No te. And again, remember, why does the te have to go in front? That's right. Never attach negative. No te duermas. Writing on the little line there, hopefully you can see it. D-U-E-R-M-A-S. Don't call me. Ooh, this is a good one because we have a pronoun. No me llames. And these would all coincide with square number 2 for the negative. Let's do some usted affirmatives. Call me. Now again, remember, switch gears, AAA. Always attach, you got it, affirmative. So call me. Llámeme. Now, this might seem a little weird because you got 2 memes, but remember, this is your verb, and this is the pronoun that I'm attaching, and that's okay. Write an essay. Again, I'm going to be formal. So, escriba un ensayo. And if I wanted to make it even shorter and I said write it, I would say escríbalo, accent over the I. Look for a dog. The verb to look for is buscar. So this is a good spell changer. Busque, again, Q-U-E. And the other thing you can think of is when you say the word busque, what word or letter do you even hear in English? Busque, the letter K. Well, that's a word in Spanish and you know how to spell it, Q-U-E. Busque un perro. Have fun. Another great verb. Diviertase. Don't forget you need the reflexive pronoun in it, say, because I'm talking to usted. All right, now let's do some negatives. So again, you're going to have the no, duerman. This one's different than falling asleep because this is just to sleep, which is dormir. So I don't need a reflexive. No duerman. And again, why is it man? That's right, this is ustedes. Don't run. No corran. Don't cry. I'm telling all of you, don't cry. You can get this. No lloren. Llorar, L-L-O-R-A-R is the original verb. I need the opposite ending, so it's en. Don't wash your hair. This is a long one. No se laven el pelo. And let's make it even shorter. Don't wash it. No se lo laven. Okay, this is just going to be a quick explanation. Hopefully this helped more of you. I would definitely recommend going on Conjuguemos and practicing the present subjunctive. It might be a little higher, a little more advanced, but I think it would be a good practice, and it's going to use all the forms, so all of the endings than just the an, the a, and the as, but it'll be good for you. And this subjunctive is used in 3 of the 4 squares. Remember, it's not used in the informal affirmative commands. Buena suerte. You can do this. I know you can. Thanks for watching.